me. You want to say good morning? This crazy dog. I just say, you ready to go, and he gets up. He thinks he's ready to go. It's too early. Yeah? Why don't you lay down? Yeah, I got a show to do. You want to you want to sit in my seat? Look at him. You want to sit in your dad's seat? Oh, okay. He decided he didn't want to be in my seat. Wow. He's back. Look, that head poking up over the table. What? What do you want? Why don't you lay down and let me finish the show? Good boy. All right. Rob? Morning.
Morning.
No earthquake yet.
Not yet.
They say that California, according to this earthquake prediction, California between the 31st,
30th
to the 3rd.
Is it 3rd?
Or 2nd?
2nd, yeah.
Today's the 2nd?
Today's the 2nd.
No, today's the 3rd.
That's right, today's the 3rd. I don't know, I'm all screwed up with the dates.
I hope I put the 3rd on here. You know, you got me concerned. It's the 3rd, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I can change it. Anyway, between then and now, we're supposed to have a 7, likely. But what the hell does likely mean? Does that mean that we're going to have one or likely going to have one? What do you think that means?
You know, to be honest with you,
they're saying 7.0 all the way from the Bay Area down to the northwest handle of Los Angeles.
I mean, yeah, the only thing I do know is that Northern California just had a 5.4.
Well, no, it was 6 something in Humboldt Counny.
Oh, was it 6 something?
Yeah, it literally,
it said 5.
People got injured and all that shit. All I know is that you better learn do you know how to swim?
Yeah.
Romeo and I know how, so we can swim.
Of course.
I'll be like this. Shaking. The walls are shaking. I'll tell you what's shaking. There's an infrastructure bill. I don't know if y'all know this or not. But in this infrastructure bill, you can thank McConnell for this. Mitch McConnell, he's the one that let it fly through. They will start watching us drive. This ain't made up. This is real. And it's in this disgusting infrastructure bill that actually installs kill switches now in all new vehicles, and it actually turns America into a police state. And this was a report that came out yesterday from the Gateway Pundit. Thank you, Gateway Pundit, for sharing this news. But let me share it with you. A lot of people cruising alone down the open road as the ultimate form of freedom will regret. Now it's time to regret to inform you that your liberty will completely evaporate unless Congress acts very soon. And this website called Motorous, Motorious, reported on Friday that former Georgia Congressman Bob Barr has been sounding the alarm on a terrifying item that was buried within the Biden Mitch McConnell infrastructure legislation. Well, that's a lot of work.
That is.
And it passed in August of 2021. Well, according to Barr, the government will now have the power to shut off your vehicle if they determine that you are partaking in any illegal activity. Oh. Well, I'm sure they can do that to all the electric cars now. They're all run by computers.
Yeah.
And anyway, does anyone really believe that the Biden regime will not abuse this newly obtained power? Of course, they say they will, particularly if such power can effectively target those opposed to the regime's agenda. Well, these are some heavy words from the Gateway Pundit. And they said, you better not be driving a gas-guzzling vehicle because the regime might think that you're a conservative and that leave you stranded in the middle of the highway. There's some horse shit.
Some bullshit.
Anyway, I got to share it with you. Yeah, there's another reason they say to remove Biden as soon as possible. And here are the full details now from Morehouse. Let me take a hit of this Java. What is this, number 12 rocket fuel?
You better believe it.
I know it's strong and ain't no sugar. It doesn't taste like chocolate milk today.
No.
Anyway, listen to this. According to an article that was written by former U.S. Representative Bob Barr, hidden away in the recently passed infrastructure bill, the very one, he says, I warned before would negatively impact drivers across the country, if it were to pass, is a measure to install vehicle kill switches into every new car, truck, and SUV sold in this country. The regulation likely won't be enforced for 5 years, so maybe, what the hell am I reading this for? So there might be time to do something about this. As we've seen, both in this country and others recently, what constitutes law-abiding can't... Law-abiding. Law-abiding. I just kind of like hit my kill switch. Anyway, can change drastically overnight. And for example, you want to kill? I put a kill switch on you. It's like, So for example, in September, a car was pulled over in good old New Zealand. And the occupants got arrested. And when police discovered what was in the trunk, which was full of Kentucky Fried Chicken, these chicken meals, you know, those fried chicken meal boxes that you get at Kentucky. What? What do you want? Why don't you lay down? All right. Anyway, they found all these Kentucky Fried Chicken meal boxes in the back of his trunk. So naturally, they thought they were smuggling the fast food to customers that were in lockdown Auckland against quarantine measures because New Zealand was locked down.
Yeah.
So these people were driving down the road and they were just trying to get people food. So evidently they went and spent a lot of money at the Kentucky Fried Chicken and they put all these boxes in the trunk. So not too long ago, before delivering the restaurant orders to people who considered a reputable legal activity, and it gets even better, Barr points out that the bill, which has now been signed into law by President Biden, I gotta remember that one. President Biden, signs that kill switch, which is referred to as a safety device and must passively monitor the performance of a driver of a what are you doing?
I'm rubbing my eye.
Look at the shit out of it. Oh, I thought, what?
I'm massaging my eye.
Oh, okay. You do that a lot?
Sometimes.
Oh, my God. All right. Do you want to hear this story or not?
Yeah.
You look like you're bored with it.
It's just so dystopian in a sense. It's just like, it's really out there. Like, this bill it's just atrocious. Like, you know, what this is for is like this whole social credit score system that they're going to implement. You know, how's he or she driving, right? Do they speed? Are they reckless on the road? Okay, they're reckless on the road. Now you get an F in driving. Now you can't go see, you know, the newest movie that just came out for Marvel.
Because you got an F in driving?
You're a
well, you can't go see the movie in Marvel anyhow because Jeremy Renner is now in critical condition, stable critical. Yeah, he got plowed over by a snowplow. You haven't heard?
I have not.
You know who Jeremy Renner is? He's the big guy in Marvel, right?
I'm so like unaware of all this information.
You didn't know?
No.
Yeah, he got plowed by a plower. Snowplower. He's in the hospital. Like, he may have parts missing. Who knows?
Or basically, this is all a part of the social credit score system that they're coming up with. You know, all these small little tactics to test and to monitor how you perform, what you're doing, just to give you a credit score, social credit score, right? It's a part of the World Economic Forum agenda. This is what this is.
I agree.
It is so funny that the gateway pundits using kill switch.
Yeah, they're saying your rights are going to be not, you're getting taken away your rights that in 2026, which is down the road from now.
3 years away.
I mean, hell.
Keep going. What else you got?
I can't. I just thought instead of talking about our gold today, which everyone knows that's what we're all about, and that's why they should give us a call, that, today I wanted to kind of like cover the crazy news that's out there, the daily news that's out there. And that's
right.
That's a big piece right now that they're talking about. And I'm like, all right, well, okay, kill switch. I think they have the damn things on there already on the electric cars. They just kill them anytime they want.
Right.
So beware, Tesla. Anyway, on the other side of the front, there's some news that says 2/3 of economists of the biggest banks right now are predicting a recession in 2023. Like we didn't already know this. And they say that there are warning signs that are including dwindling pandemic savings, decline in housing market, and tightening lending rules. But before I go into that, Rob, I want to share something that is shocking. Well, it's really not. Because when we talked about Fauci, I got censored and I got spanked on the butt. And we got shut down from YouTube for a week because we said things that they construed it as misinformation. It's okay. It's all right. I understand. That's why now we do it live on Rumble, and then we send it over to YouTube to get permission to post it onto YouTube. But anyway, what's really interesting, and it's on Twitter, but it's not the full video that's on Twitter. There was a video that was taken down within seconds that it was posted on YouTube. So don't tell me that YouTube isn't watching things out there. They'll let these, you know what's interesting, Rob? They'll let these crazy ass streamers out there that are like threatening people, getting beat up on the street, putting cameras in front of their faces, and they're getting YouTube pays them to do this, by the way. From what I understand, they have to take some of their money from their donations and give it back to YouTube about 30%. So they're like an Uber driver with a camera out there for Uber. I mean for YouTube. Oh yeah. And then what's interesting is you'll be out on the street and somebody will come up to you crazy and all, and they look like crazy people, and they are crazy people because they're up 24, 48 hours with a camera going all over. There's one guy that's all over the place, going all over the world right now, and he's got what they call this thing a subathon. So what they do is they keep their camera on nonstop. You even watch them sleep. It's craziest shit I ever seen. And people are donating money, paying subscriptions to go to these stupid things. No wonder these people are broke. They're spending all this money on this crap.
On that garbage.
It's garbage. Anyway, what's not garbage is the FDIC bankers had a meeting back in November, and they were discussing bail-ins. And the reason they were discussing these bail-ins was to deal with the market collapse, the impending market collapse. And I want to share some of these bits from you because you can't see the video now. You can go on to Twitter.
Show the video. We're on Rumble. Show the video.
No, I can't because it's going to go to YouTube.
No, it's on YouTube. I just found it on YouTube. It's being shown on YouTube.
I will do it tomorrow. I can't do it now because I don't have it queued up. It takes too much time. Well, I'm going to talk to you about it. But in the video, if you go to, what's it under YouTube so they can find it?
Yeah, just put in FDIC bankers.
I had a feeling we'd come back up. So put in on YouTube, Chris, if you're listening to us, if you go to FDIC bankers, discuss bail-ins.
Yeah,
there's a video up there. It was actually taken down yesterday, but I had a feeling that it would get put back up because it was just too obvious what they were doing. But I understand it was probably a bot, what they call bots, where they probably saw keywords in there and shut it down. Because I can't believe that they'd have minions out there watching everything, right?
Twitter had it. Twitter had little minions monitoring.
Did they? Well, that's true.
So, why wouldn't, centralized YouTube not have the same?
Rob, I've seen things on YouTube that are sexual, that are dangerous, and yet I still see it on there. I remember the one time you and I showed a video of these girls. What did I call them?
Oh, the ones that were like fighting at Hooters?
No. Well, that was one, but there was another one on the bus. We've been scolded a few times. Yeah. What was the one on the bus where the Green Goblins?
Oh, the Goblins. Yeah.
These Green Goblins, they were all dressed in, and I want to talk to you about something here. The Green Goblins, they were all dressed in these costumes, and they were beating this girl's ass.
It was
and
her
stole
birthday.
her. It was her birthday, and they stole her money and everything and ran off.
Imbeciles.
And we were showing a thing where these kids were out of Hooters and breaking windows and everything, and we got scolded for that, saying that caused violence. Well, let me tell you something. The things that I see on these YouTube streamers, that's violence.
Fuck yeah.
I don't know why they allow it.
Well, not only that.
They show tit, they show ass, they show nasty stuff, and they allow it. They show people getting pickpocketed. I guess people like that shit. I just see it because I'm like, wow, I can't believe that they censor me on something that's real, yet you're taking this away from them. And I don't care, YouTube. You censor me on this one.
They want people to live in this delusion, this unreality, like this sort of non-reality type of
They talk about having sex, they talk about picking up chicks, they talk about, you wouldn't believe the stuff, and they allow it because you know what? They have all these subscribers because people like that nasty stuff, and they got all these subscribers, and YouTube does not want to lose that money. It's a bread and butter for YouTube. Anyway, it's all good. So let me share something with you about the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC. These officials recently discussed how they're going to deal with the next approaching market collapse and hide the alarming data that they get from us, the depositors, to prevent them from having any type of bank runs at all.
Well, really, what they also I didn't want to cut you off, but
no,
really,
it's okay. I'm listening.
Really, what they spoke about was the inability for them to actually provide every single depositor and creditor their money. They talked about
Well, let me. I don't mean to cut you off. Let me share something with you. So this came from one of the FDIC members, and he said you got to think of the unintended consequences of taking a public that has more full faith and confidence in the banking system than maybe the people in this room do. And that is what one FDIC member stated. And he said, we want them to have the full faith and confidence in our banking system. And they know FDIC insurance is there. And they know what works. And they put their money in, and they're going to get their money out. And he claimed that although these institutions will soon be able to figure out the dire implications of what's being discussed at the meeting, the general public, us, we should not. And that would lead to unintended consequences. And he says, I would be careful about the unintended consequences of starting to blast too much of this out into the general public, he said. This was in the meeting. This isn't made up stuff. This is real. And in this fitting description of fractional reserve banking, another SRAC member stated that although institutions don't want to see a huge run on their deposits, they likely will soon, which will bring about the need to impose the bail-ins. Now, it's interesting, this hasn't been discussed on the news that I've seen anywhere. It's crazy. So people need to understand that they can get bailed in, but you don't want a huge run on the institutions. But they're going to be. There are going to be, is what they're saying. And it could be an early warning sign to the FDIC and to the primary regulators when these things happen, he said. Well, I wish I could get away with this because these are actual clips. Look at this from the FDIC. And he goes on, he says, unlike bailouts, which involve a third party like taxpayers and governments rescuing failed financial institutions, bail-ins are a mechanism in which creditors of a falling financial institution are required to cancel some debt of its debts. You just blocked me out.
Oh, sorry.
As a part of a plan to save it from collapse. And one FDIC member claimed this economic period of peacetime will soon flip faster than we saw in 2008. Now, this is these guys from the FDIC. These are members of the FDIC in a meeting that are discussing that the banks are soon to have bank runs. And what are they going to do? What mechanisms are they going to put in place to prevent these bank runs from happening? I wish I could show this, Rob.
Here, let's try it. We can get this up real quick.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to get in trouble. I just want to show them the clip that this is, they can go on to InfoWars.
No, just show them. You're not going to get in trouble. You're on Rumble.
I don't think it's going to work.
If they shut us down from YouTube, who cares?
I don't think it's going to work, is what I'm trying to
open
tell
it
you.
up, expand the view.
I've already got it on, and it's not working. It's not working.
You just got to expand the view.
No, it has nothing to do with expanding the view, Rob.
Now, press play.
It's not going to work. You don't have it on. It's not. Let me show you. There's no sound. For some reason, we don't have sound. That's what they're coming in today to get all done.
Well, that was a previous meeting. Go
So
to the most recent.
no, Rob, I don't have time. We don't have time for this. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, this is the feds talking this, and because of that, he said it's necessary for financial institutions to quickly leverage the social media world. What does he mean by that? The social media world. Is he talking about YouTube?
He's talking about every
Is
single
he
social
talking
media
about Facebook?
Yep.
And when he's saying leverage,
Yeah, have you not seen these like ridiculous commercials of JP Morgan, TD Ameritrade, and Bank of America? Like, you know, I saw one the other day while we were playing our videos, and it was like, you're in a down market. You're losing your retirement. But but it's okay. Come talk to a representative at so-and-so bank and learn how to navigate through this turmoil. And trust us, we'll take care of you.
Yeah, there was something yesterday.
It's
one of my
fucking
clients
ridiculous.
texted me and says, is this okay? And I'm like, no, it's not okay.
No, what they're doing is
Trying to say that gold's been down all year. And I'm like, what? In fact, he told me in this, I don't even want to go in. Let me finish going into what I'm talking about here, because this is important for you. So it's necessary for financial institutions to quickly leverage the social media world with curated talking points to combat disinformation and avoid rumors taking over the narrative. Keeping in mind that the FDIC insures, listen to this, folks, $9 trillion of bank deposits with only $125 billion worth of assets.
that's 1%.
What does that tell you?
They don't have your fucking money.
Means that they don't have it. And so, in other words, only 1.3% of its holdings are actually in reserves. So it can't possibly insure everybody, especially in a crisis when many people want to withdraw their money all at once. Now, I know what's going to happen after my clients here. They're all going to want, I had to take my money out of the bank. Blah, 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 blah. And they're all going to be like calling and panicking today. I don't want to cause a panic. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm just giving you the knowledge, and then you can do whatever you want to do.
I disagree. You should. I disagree with that. You should be freaking panicking right now.
No, you can't pull all your money out of the bank.
Look,
Rob, you got to have money to pay bills, to do things like that.
I'm not saying that. But you should internally be aware that you are nothing. You are considered a peasant to the FDIC bankers, to the institutions right now that you just deposited your entire life.
They don't even know them. They don't even know you.
Well, guess what?
Banks don't even know you.
When you have the Systemic Resolution Advisory Board from the FDIC, Systemic Resolution Advisory Board, their job is to talk about and create a game plan around systemic risk. Right now, they have 1% of depositor funds out of nine, and this is not just CDs or savings or checkings. This
all
is,
of it.
This is your investment account, your IRAs. This is everything. They have none of your money.
Well, it's
what
not-
are you doing? What are you doing in a system like this where, at the flip of a switch, you have? Oh, by the way, you forgot to mention, they go into institutional investors. They go into institutional or accredited depositors, right? Where if you have 10 to 15 million invested with them, the guy literally says, for our other crowd of individuals, right? Because they say the general public. They also have, and they say the institutional individuals. They could find this information. They are made aware of this information. They could come talk to one of us or one of your helping hands to discuss, what they would need to do.
Let me see if I can play this. Hold on a second. I don't think I can because, Rob, I'm trying to play the whole meeting. All right. So there it is.
Don't play the meeting. Go to the
No, the meeting's only like 7 minutes. So here's the full one. It's now available. YouTube's showing it again. So here it is. So what we want to do, let me get rid of this. Now, I don't know if it's going to play because the sound's not there. It's not playing. There's no sound. That's the problem.
Is there sound on your laptop?
Yeah. I guess. Let me see. Oh, yeah, no, it's working. See, they're getting ready for their meeting, but Rob, I don't know. There's no sound. Anyway, I wish I could show it. It's just that I don't know what's going on. And today they're coming in to move everything out of this room, thank God. And we will be, is it playing? No. So tomorrow we should have everything set up in the new place, except for the LED.
I mean, the bottom line is this: is that they don't want you to know that they don't have your capital available.
No.
They don't want you to know that they're in preparation for an internal bank bail-in. They don't want you to know that you're going to be forced to rely on the government for the rest of your retirement life.
It can't possibly insure everybody, especially in a crisis.
Well, number one, they don't have the money.
When many people want to withdraw their money all at once, and therefore the Federal Reserve orchestrated bailouts, and thus more inflation are inevitable should the market come to pass.
If you deposit your money into the banking system, don't you think you should have the legal right to pull your money out?
Well, yeah, but again, Rob, remember I've said this so many times on this show that the minute you give your money to a banker, a custodian, look out, you're going to get ran over. You name it. Legally speaking, these are all private corporations, and once you loaned your money to them now, and now you're going to get an IOU back saying, "Okay, Rob, I owe you this amount of money," whether it's in stocks, whatever, whether it's in a savings account. And if they lose your money, tough luck. 1.3% is what the Fed's got. And guess what? If the market goes upside down, you ain't got nothing, right? Because there's no guarantee. Well, flip back over to the other side when I was talking about 2/3 of the economists. So 2/3 of the economists at the largest U.S. financial institutions right now are now ringing the bells and saying that a recession will occur, not that it might occur, but will occur in 2023. And the Wall Street Journal surveyed of 23 primary dealers. By the way, primary dealers are the ones that are getting all this money from the repo and all of this. They're the large financial firms like Citadel, BlackRock, JP Morgan Chase. So the large financial firms that do business directly with the Federal Reserve found a majority expect a recession in 2023, the year you're sitting your ass in right now. Mm-hmm. And among the top economic concerns were dwindling personal savings, the decline in the housing market, and tightening lending standards at many banks right now. and it follows the Fed's rapid rate hikes to battle soaring inflation from last year, which we saw the benchmark rate rise from near zero in March to 4.25% to 4.5% by the end of the year. This is what the banks are talking about. And the central bank forecast says that they will reach a range of 5% to 5.25% by the end of 2023, and its forecast doesn't call for a rate cut even before 2024. Holy crap. And the Fed policy rate is now at the highest level since prior to, Rob, how many times have I echoed this year in 2008? That year, it took people's lives. It took people's livelihoods. It took people's anyway, I was going to say virginity.
Oh, my God.
It took a lot. It did. If you ain't making no money, you ain't making no babies.
Yeah.
They ain't going to be no babies.
Right.
So it took your virginity.
Yeah.
You think about that.
You kept your virginity. Because it didn't take it. If you're not making money, you're not getting none of that,
It took your virginity. In other words, you didn't have any sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I just thought of that. I mean, it's true. Think about it, Rob. If you ain't making no money and you're barely getting by, unless you were a welfare mama and you wanted to make money off of welfare by having babies, that's the only reason you'd be breeding.
I hear there's professionals at that.
That's been going on even since my life, man. These people were having babies. They called breeding mamas.
Breeding mamas.
Yeah, she'd get a baby just so that she could get a Coca-Cola.
Jesus.
Now these food stamps back in my days when I saw them, they came in a book. Now, hell, you can go to a restaurant and have full course meal on welfare. I see it across the street at this brisket place. It's like, we accept EBDT.
That, by the way, I don't know. I've had their food over there. It's disgusting.
Oh, disgusting. I know,
So
it's
bad.
horrible. It's horrible. So anyway, Rob, the Fed policy rate now is at the highest level since 2008. And as these central banks attempt to bring down inflation without triggering this economic downturn. And by the Fed's preference, inflation is still running nearly 3 times its 2% goal, having risen earlier in 2022 at the fastest pace we've ever seen in 40 years. And rising prices now have forced consumers to rapidly spend down their savings, which soared. All you have to do is look at the credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
It takes money out of your savings or out of your weekly check or whatever just to pay your credit cards. The interest rates are just astronomical.
Yeah.
And it soared during the COVID-19 pandemic thanks to the stimulus measures and the slowdown in spending. And the personal savings now rate dropped at 2.4% in November, far below the pre-pandemic average of 8.8% in 2019. Did you know that? Yeah. And the consumers now have also increasingly, like I said, been tapping their lines of credit just to make ends meet. So the total housing borrowing reached $16.51 trillion in the third quarter, which is a $351 billion increase from the first quarter, an 8.3% jump from a year ago. And the latest annual increases in 14 years, according to the Fed data.
Yeah.
And so higher interest rates have had the most dramatic impact on the housing market, which now saw a plunge in sales activity in the second half of last year. So, today the jobs report came out, right? You were talking to me about that?
Last week they did.
Well, something's coming out this week, though.
It's probably like a review of the Fed minutes.
Yeah, there's going to be talk, yeah. And everybody's got their ears and eyes open right now.
Yeah.
But the 30-year fixed mortgage rate breached 7% in October for the first time since 2002, and that was more than doubling the span of 9 months. And it's now deflated a red housing market that was fueled by historically low borrowing and a rush to the suburbs during the pandemic. What are you laughing at?
It's just funny how they word that.
Yeah. And they're saying that existing home sales fell 7.7% in November from October, according to the National Association of Realtors. And November sales dropped a whopping 35.4% year over year. And the NAR added that the current 10-month streak of declines is the longest on record in data that dates back to 1999. So banks have also now tightened their lending standards in recent months.
Oh, did they?
Which is a traditional leading indicator of a recession. And, of the primary dealers surveyed by the Journal, only 5 said they do not expect a recession in 2023 or 2024. Credit Suisse, Goldman Sachs, HSBC, JP Morgan Chase, and Morgan Stanley. And Credit Suisse senior U.S. economist Jeremy Schwartz wrote in the bank's 2023 outlook, listen to this, several historically reliable lead indicators are sending recession signals, but in our view, these measures are unable to correctly gauge recession risk in the current environment.
Not credible. Let me tell you why it's not credible. Because Credit Suisse just got bailed out a few months ago.
Yeah, right?
Not credible.
Of course they don't want to tell.
You could toss that in the trash. He's not credible whatsoever. Anything coming from Credit Suisse.
Well, Rob, this is why I mentioned first before I flipped over to the other side, I mentioned what the FDIC said, right?
Yeah.
Because the FDIC is telling the truth.
They are.
Right?
They are.
But you've got these banks. Listen to this. After that was said, the unemployment rate remains quite low at 3.7%, and the Fed policymakers project to rise to 4.4% this year. And the stock market spent much of 2022 bracing for a downturn, and the benchmark S&P 500 index finished the year with a loss of 19.4%. And it's just the third annual decline since the financial crisis 14 years ago, and a painful reversal to the investors after the S&P 500 notched a gain of nearly 27% in 2021. So all told, the index lost $2 trillion in value, according to the S&P Dow Jones indices. So there you go. Only 5 of them say it. The rest of these primary dealers are all bracing for a recession. You remember, Rob, these big banks, they always get bailed out.
Yep.
Right?
They do.
So they don't want to cause any fear or anything like that. But, hey, it is what it is. Give us a call, 800-753-8534. There he is. I got you trained, don't I? And 323-380-5485. Today's a crazy busy day. Going to be moving out of here, out of this closet. We're literally in the closet. There's brooms over there in the corner. We're in the closet. Anyway, look forward to seeing you tomorrow. It'll be a little bit different, a lot bigger. Man, look at it outside. It's really bad. You guys, y'all want to see? Can they see?
No, they won't be able to see out the.
What's this camera go to? That goes to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can see.